We have all at one point in our life either seen this happen or have this happen to us, or maybe we've even done it. You're in a group setting or you're sitting one-on-one with someone and there's laughter and there's humor and there's comments being made, and then a relatively hurtful comment gets said. A joke gets made, a nasty comment, and the person who the comment was said to looks visibly upset. Or they say, "That's not funny. I really don't like that." And the person who said the comment doesn't apologize. They don't take accountability. What they say instead was, "I was just kidding. Why are you so sensitive? You're being so dramatic." We've all seen this happen, have experienced this ourselves, or maybe we've even done it, where we said a joke and then we kind of didn't really know how to respond when the person was upset, and so we try to minimize it and make a joke out of it. If this has happened to you, if you've been on the receiving end of this, you know how absolutely infuriating this is. You know how dismissive this feels, and honestly, how deeply hurtful this experience is. What I'm going to be diving into in this video is, what does it actually mean when someone does that? Why is it that when someone is told that what they did was hurtful, they'll minimize it or they'll use a comment saying, "Well, it was just a joke"? Like, what is the function of that behavior? That's what I'm going to be diving into in this video. And what I want to say right off the bat, and this might be a little hurtful, and that's okay, because in this channel, we learn how to navigate hurt feelings here. When people do that, it is a form of manipulation. It is covert manipulation that is intended to take away blame, to take away responsibility, and to deny the inherent truth of your actions, of the actions of the person. When someone says, "I'm just joking," ultimately what it really comes down to is this person struggles taking accountability for their actions. Maybe they were never taught it. Maybe they had this happen to them, and so now they use this as a tool or as a pattern of behavior. But fundamentally and principally, what this comes down to is this person struggles significantly taking accountability and responsibility for their behavior. So they start to feel so much distress, so much discomfort, so much dis-ease when their behavior is called out, or when they do something that bothers another person, and the idea or the notion of taking accountability feels so distressful and so distressing that what they have to do is they have to take the blame off of themselves and push it onto you as the victim. Ultimately, what they're doing is they're avoiding accountability. I cannot take responsibility for what I did. I don't know how to internally regulate. I don't know how to calm down my own nervous system or to not feel bad about myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a method called gaslighting and convince you that what I did, it wasn't actually anything wrong. So I'm going to blame shift. I'm going to focus the attention onto you and highlight that you're just an insecure person. You're just not capable of handling a joke. And this is your fault. Now, if you really think about that, think of the harm that is done underneath that. I can't take accountability. I struggle with my own emotions. I can't apologize because that means something negative about me. So I need to convince you that it's your fault and that you are just sensitive and incapable of handling a joke. Now, sometimes people are just very sensitive. There is a reality to that. Maybe a joke is not made at their expense and this person is just sensitive. Okay, that's fair. Now, do I believe as a therapist that we should be living our lives based on the sensitivities of other people? No, because it's not helpful. Because if someone is incredibly sensitive and they get easily hurt and offended by things, then that is work that they need to do for themselves to be able to have a strong emotional system, to have a safe, regulated nervous system, to be able to advocate for themselves, to be able to not be bothered by things very easily, right? They need to have a strong emotional system, emotional intelligence, emotional safety. But that's not what's happening here. This is not a matter of, oh, a person can't take a joke. This comes down to an interpersonal dynamic where somebody has a hard time owning their behavior, and so they are discharging blame onto the person that they are harming. Maybe they really are upset at this person and they don't know how to say it, so they're using passive aggressive tendencies. Maybe this person feels very insecure, so they need to assert their dominance and assert power and authority by putting somebody else down and saying, oh, it's just a joke, but remember, you can't call me out and you can't question me. All of these behaviors are very manipulative and they're borderline abusive. There is a massive difference between two people mutually agreeing and having an unwritten or a written contract that we are coming into this situation to mutually experience humor. So if you go to a comedy show and the comedian is making fun of you, you kind of signed up for it, right? You came to the comedy house knowing that there is a comedian on stage, and the purpose of that is to make jokes and to make humor. So there is a mutual contract, a mutual agreement that both of us are coming into this situation for said purpose. This is not that. This is one person intending to harm, but not wanting to take accountability for it. And as the person being told, oh, you're just so sensitive, it feels so invalidating. And it might lead you to people please. It might lead you to start second guessing yourself, to thinking you're going crazy. And this is where the gaslighting effect comes in. Am I being sensitive? Can I just not take a joke? Well, they wouldn't try to hurt me, right? You start second guessing yourself. You're second guessing what you're thinking. You second guess what you're feeling. And then the purpose of that ultimately is so that you don't defend yourself. Inflicting harm and then using it was just a joke to bypass that harm is manipulation. You are not just too sensitive. You're not just not able to take a joke. The other person struggles taking accountability for their actions. So instead of taking accountability, they attack you. So what do? You assert your boundaries. Say, hey, listen, I understand that maybe you think this was a joke, but to me, this isn't funny. And I'm not okay with comments like this being said. So I would really appreciate it if comments like that were not said. And if they are, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just not going to interact with you anymore. Can we agree on that? Or you don't even have to add that last part. Just let them know. I don't agree to that. I'm not okay with it. I will not interact with this. Acknowledge the pattern. Say something along the lines of, hey, listen, I've noticed this pattern that you'll make a joke, you'll say something, you'll say a hurtful comment, and then when someone acknowledges it, you just try to turn it around and say, it's just a joke. What's going on? Are you upset about something? Is there something deeper going on? Do we need to have a conversation about something? Now, two things might happen here. They might stand firm in the fact that, no, I was just joking and you're being sensitive, because again, they're maybe not ready to take accountability. Or they might be like, honestly, you know what? You're right. I have been doing that. I've been having a hard time expressing some of the things that I'm feeling, and I didn't know how to say it, so I kept making jokes. I'm sorry. Can we have a dialogue about this? If the person is very emotionally mature, they will do the second one. If the person has lower emotional intelligence, they're likely to do the first. The point of this is to, number one, help you to understand that you're not going crazy and you're not too sensitive. This person is using harmful tactics, and you are absolutely justified in feeling upset about it. Number two, it is absolutely okay for you to call it out and set a boundary. And that person might maintain the belief that you're being sensitive, and that's okay. You're allowed to set a boundary and not interact with that person anymore. It's going to be uncomfortable, especially if you really care about the person. And we need to honor ourselves. We need to be there for ourselves and teach people how to treat us. I hope this video helped. If you have questions, if you've had this happen to you, drop a comment down below. Let me know how you handled it. What came up for you? Did you learn anything new in this video? If there's other topics that you want me to talk about, please drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're interested in hearing. And if you're looking for someone to guide you on how to navigate conversations and circumstances like this, I am accepting new clients. So send me a DM. Say, I'm just joking. I saw your video. I would like to have a conversation about it, whatever, and we will get started.